2018 has been an alright year for gaming, but I'm not gonna lie, there haven't been a lot of games that have truly made me feel something. I'm talking about experiences that leave me gutted and emotionally drained. The Gardens Between does just that, and not because it's a sad and depressing journey, but rather because of the memories of my own childhood friends it pulled out of me with each puzzle. The Gardens Between is one of those special games that you're not gonna soon forget. This is a time-bending puzzle game about two friends who grew up living right next to each other. It's a game about shared moments and the things that bond us. In this case, we get to experience the many years of their friendship through a surreal adventure that is every bit as imaginative as it is sweet. We get to know so much about the young boy and girl without either of them ever saying a single word, and I'm not sure I'd want it any other way. To set things up, the boy and girl are doing what they always do. They're hanging out in the treehouse located between their two homes. But this is not any other day, as the pair discovers when time quite literally stops and a glowing orb mysteriously shows up in their wooden sanctuary. This is just the start of what turns out to be a brief but emotionally satisfying adventure through a friendship's greatest hits. The hook here is that you can play with time. That is to say that moving forward will advance time, while moving backwards will rewind everything that has already happened. This is a simple concept that is made incredibly tricky when you realize that you can interact with things in time and make subtle adjustments to solve the puzzles. If that doesn't get you excited for the possibilities, then you and I like different kinds of puzzle games. Now, a lot of this revolves around using the girl's lantern to collect light from the islands, to create bridges, eliminate fog, and ultimately complete the stages. You'll quickly see how this can all become complicated when you encounter light-sucking black holes and fog that you don't even want to get rid of. And that's before you start using the kids' old technology like 8-bit consoles and ancient computers to solve puzzles. This is one of those games that starts with a very simple concept and just keeps layering one new idea after another. What's nice is the time stuff is fairly easy to wrap your head around. You aren't really controlling the two characters directly, but rather pushing right to advance time and left to rewind. The girl can interact with the light and put down her lantern, while the boy is able to ring bells and make a path for the girl. One of the things he'll play around with is a machine that'll allow him to advance time for only one object while everything else stays frozen. But don't worry about any of this becoming frustrating or too overwhelming, because the game does an excellent job sectioning off the different puzzles and never making them boil down to trial and error tactics. The solutions make sense and are always logical, they just aren't obvious at first. Now, there's several different worlds to complete before the big finale, each with 2 or 3 different stages full of smaller puzzles. Each of these stages take place on small islands with oddly shaped mountains in what appears to be the middle of the ocean. You'll start to notice themes with each of these areas as they represent important events in the two friends' lives. Some of the stages will be filled with old tape decks and VCRs. Another will feature dinosaur bones. And yet another world will be filled with tools from Dad's garage. And once you've solved that world's puzzles, you'll be treated to a visual of the moment that inspired those stages. It's both simple and effective. And I think that's what I respect most about this game. When you're dealing with rewinding and altering time, there's a desire to make things more complicated than they need to be. The Voxel agents have used great restraint, opting instead for smaller and more poignant moments than trying to be too ambitious. As a result, each level feels important, like it's advancing a larger narrative. The game never throws in filler to extend the length, but instead is confident in the levels and puzzles it puts forward. I felt like I had gone on an emotional roller coaster ride by the end, and I loved every second of it. The Gardens Between is a small game that'll leave a big impact. It's an enthralling journey with endlessly clever puzzles and a deeply emotional core that will no doubt remind you of your childhood friends. It's also gorgeous. I love the look of this game and its gentle, soothing atmosphere. It's also creative, but never overwhelming or frustrating. The Gardens Between is a time-bending puzzler for anybody that wants to feel something. This is a special game. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. And here's the question I have for you. How would you rank 2018 in gaming? I don't know, maybe it's because 2017 was such an incredible year, but this year hasn't done much for me. I mean, there have been a lot of great games, don't get me wrong, but it feels like something's missing. Where do you come down on this? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, we still have a bunch of reviews to get to, so I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.